This tutorial will show you how to version SAS programs, but in addition, use it to validate the SAS program. So let me start by showing you the fact that you can create a normal version of the program by selecting on version plus notes, for example, and you can say this is being developed. These are notes to document what it is that you're working on. So once you finish working on your programs and you're ready for validation, it's a good idea to lock it. The reason being, if you do not lock your programs, you'll be working or validating and testing a moving target. So the locking actually will take the original program and rename it to a different file, so it indicates to the other users that you're doing validation. It also performs a log evaluation, means that it looks at the log and it tries to identify error messages or other cautionary messages that you should be aware of. In this case, there are some problems with this program. But I'll go ahead and lock it for validation. When you do that, you can see that the program has been changed to a different name. So this actually will allow the user to see different menus that are available as well. So let's say you provide this to the validation analyst, and they decide to do some testing of the log and the output in the program. And during their testing, they can actually record notes. You can do validation notes to the program. So these are similar to the other notes. You can say that it is being tested, and you can document findings within your test. You can also select the different areas within your program, such as the program header, derived variables, and different things that you're validating. And you can set a status as well. So let's say I started this validation. So during this, it documents everything, and you can also, once everything is finished, or let's say you found some errors, you can unlock it, and you say you can send this back to the programmer to fix. And once let's say the original program takes this program that's now available, fixes it, and sends it back to validation. I just want to show you two steps. So ready for second round. Normally this iterative process goes on for a few cycles before the program is fully resolved with all of its discrepancies. So let's say the programmer fixes everything, all the validation tests has been complete. They can then set it to production. What this means is it's going to take that version, and you can assign a version number. I did this once before, and the previous version was version 1.1. So it takes whatever the previous version and assigns an incremental to the next version. You can, of course, change this. You can change it to, let's say, version 2.1. It's arbitrary, but it's allowing you to track what version number you're working on. And you can say this is ready for production mode. That's just a note message. And now this program is now set back to production and it's ready to be used. So if you look at the history, you can see all of the steps that we've taken back from its previous version to version 2.1. Another way is also to look at the report details more view. And one of the example report is to look at the history of the programs. I should have looked at the history of the current program. This is the history of all the programs in this study. Let me look at the one with just this program in particular and scroll down to near the end. You can see that at one point I started doing the development, and I had locked it, and then I sent it to being tested, and then the second round was applied, and then finally the last step was to set it to production. So this gives a timeline and also detailed documentation as to what was actually done in the validation process. So this process is very good for documenting all of your validation efforts. And in turn, each one of these steps, there's a version as well. So at any point, you can roll back to a previous version and restore it if that was a more valid version than the one that you have. But this gives you an ability to currently use version 2.1, or other users can roll back and look at version 1.1 or even previous to that if they wish to restore a previous version. So that's how you can validate and test your programs using this method as a way of documenting the change control throughout the process.